Hey everybody, hope you're well. Let me take a quick message here. Happy first of happy 1st of November. Boy, it's hard to believe. Holy smokes. 10 months of the year. Poof, gone. Okay, let me get everybody promoted here. So hang on one just a second. Betty, good to see you. Brianna, good to see you too. Kai, good to see you, buddy. Gilbert, good to see you. Welcome aboard. Brother Jeff, good to see you. Jeff Johnston, bringing down the house in Michigan. Laura, good to see you. Liz, good to see you. Lou Carlson, good to see you, buddy. Michael Usery, good to see you. Michelle Dixon, good to see you. Brand new, welcome aboard. Randy Weaver, good to see you, buddy. Rob Lane, Rob Perot, Sasha Allen, good to see you. All right, I saw your one-on-one schedule, Sasha, too. Thank you for doing that. That's great. So I'm going to get you all promoted here. So hang on just one second. Again, we are live. It is being recorded, and it's also being broadcast on Facebook Live. So welcome aboard to all the Facebook folks. Let's see. Laura, good to see you. Kathy, good to see you. Make sure get everybody correctly promoted here. Hang on one second. Just want to make sure I'm not missing anyone. And as soon as I do this, we'll get started. Michelle, good to see you. Great call today. And hopefully I've got everybody. If you didn't hear me call your name, I'm going to go back to the beginning because Zoom puts you in alphabetically. So if I've already been through the A's and I'm on the T's and you're a B, I may have accidentally missed you. So let's just make sure everybody's okay. I think everybody is. So we've got 11 panelists and 9, that's 20. And you're 19, that's not okay. So we're all present and accounted for. Well, first off, just want to say a big giant hello to you and thanks for participating tonight. So last week, Gina pitch hit it for me, thank goodness. Went over scripting that was more traditional scripting for owner occupants and some objection handling and some fear blocking. I know, and everybody, we've all been through this. When you're new to the business and people start talking about cold calling, and it doesn't sound like, okay, well, I'll get to it when I get to it, and I'm sure I'll be fine. And then you get to doing it, and all of a sudden you're not fine. It's a mental hurdle. And I think almost everybody I've ever met has gone through that, including me. So just have faith. Practice makes perfect. And I know I'm probably making it sound easier than it is because in the beginning it wasn't easy. Mentally not easy. But once I got used to it, it became second nature. It actually became it's part of the business, it becomes a necessity, it becomes natural. So I can promise you this, it doesn't matter where you're coming from, when you got started, that ability to where it becomes natural, it does happen. It happens naturally, happens on its own. It could be 3 months, could be 3 years. But just know that I promise you, it gets easier. The mental hurdle part gets easier. Scripting, we're always evolving, improvising, adapting, overcoming. The markets change. Even within the real estate, it changes. I mean, this next recession will be different than the last one. The last one was different than the one before that. So that's why we always constantly update our scripting. All right, we got some more people to promote here. So hang on just one second, guys.
Hey, Gary, all I have is speaker. I don't have any video.
Can you see me? So you can't see me at all?
I can see you, but I don't have, my camera's not working. I don't know if I'm just an attendee or a panelist or what.
Okay, hang on. Let me see if I can get back there. Ursula, Susan, good to see you. Sandy, good to see you. PF, good to see you. Kevin Kelleher, hot dog, good to see you, buddy. In many moons, we used to say. Jackie, good to see you. Greg Covington, good call earlier. Good to see you, buddy. So Rob, let me find you here and make sure.
Hey, Gary, big
Yes,
shout
sir.
out to Michelle Hannaford for helping me out this week on a closing, trying to tie up Sky Slope.
Oh,
Appreciate the team effort.
nice. So
Yep.
thanks, Michelle, for doing that. I think
Should be
Michelle-
going down in the next day or two, so I appreciate her help.
Excellent. Well, congratulations too, Jeff, on reeling in a fish. Hey, Rob, give it a second and check again. Augustine, good to see you. Cindy, good to see you. Boy, you got a lot of
Okay, I got it now.
excellent.
That
Good.
worked.
Elsie, good to
Thank
see you. Gina, good to see you. Sandy, Susan, see if I think I promoted. We got a pretty full house tonight. So if you're on and you haven't been promoted, just type in a chat box and either I'll see it or one of the other guys and gals on the call will let me know that I've got to promote somebody. Summers, Connecticut, hot diggity dog. All right. Okay, I think that's it. A couple of things, guys. First off, I just want to give you a big, giant, huge virtual thank you, big hug, because what you all did for me last week was, just this. I mean, I can't even again put in words, and it really, it wasn't just our team here, but I mean, people near and far, folks I haven't seen or spoken with in a long time. I've come out of the woodwork, in support of my daughter and what we're going through. So I really, I can't, I just probably don't have the words that justify how that made me feel. I mean, it's just, in business terms, I don't want to make this a business thing here, but I'm telling you, in the early days, I was always taught you really want to build a network. You want to build a group of people that you network with in your sphere. And it's absolutely true in terms of business. I mean, that's one of the core fundamental foundations of this business. And yet here, the sphere, the network has come through for me in ways I'd have never imagined before in a million years. I've been doing this a long time. I started my first property I bought January 20th, 1986. So that's whatever many years it is. How many years is that? That 30 years? Probably 30. Is that right? 35 years? I don't know. I can't even count. I'm never was good at science. 35 years. That's how bizarre to say, and this is the first time in my life I've ever reached out and, was encouraged to do that from some very close allies in my life, and boy, what a fulfilling and rewarding experience. I don't know what the rules are, what the statistics are on GoFundMe, but I'm telling you, I'm seeing some pretty awesome numbers out there. So thank you very much. And I will tell you, Annie's, I hopefully get to see her this weekend. She sort of kind of went into her shell and cocoon and didn't really want to see anybody, or she just wanted to hunker down. And I don't blame her. I can't imagine what that would be like, but I do have some good news. Speaking of networks, my oldest sisters, 5 of us, 3 are nurses. Okay. Oldest sister, who's a nurse, married a surgeon. He was at Johns Hopkins from day one as a freshman, went all the way through, pre-med, medical school, internship, residency. He was chief resident at Johns Hopkins. Ended up being one of the developers of virtual surgery, which was the precursor for robotic surgery, where they can direct surgery from across the world. So in the first Gulf War, my brother-in-law, Mark Talamini, was a pioneer in this field at Johns Hopkins. And, kind of that was his claim to fame. So he now is a chief surgeon at Stony Brook up in New York. So, but in any case, one of the guys he hired is a guy named Henry Brem at Johns Hopkins. Henry Brem was a Harvard graduate, came to Hopkins to help develop the neurosurgical division. And he specializes in brain tumors, of course. So he developed this technology where they microscopically embed this bead in a tumor, and it time releases chemo. So it's not like the traditional chemo where it's intravenous and it's just so damaging to the human body. It goes into the tumor itself and works from the inside. So I asked my brother-in-law, I said, do you think you could call this guy and see if he could take Annie's case? So Mark said, well, I haven't seen him in 15 years, but what the heck, I'll call him. And he did. And he said they had a great conversation, reconnected. And Dr. Bream said, if Annie's a candidate for the bead, she'll get it. And the surgical team she's assigned to is very aggressive, and they're one of the best there is. And one of the lead surgeon is another one of those guys that people wait in line for from all over the world to see, So just to give you the quick rundown here, she has to have another MRI. She's been doing this for 5 years, guys. She's had 2 surgeries, 2 brain tumor surgeries, chemo, and now she's in a different category that the tumor has started to spread, go deeper into the brain, and it's now a new category. So it makes her, avails her to other techniques. In any case, Dr. Brem looked at the file, says he sees it favorably, and he's going to sit on what's called the tumor board when they review all the data and determine the course of action, which is all going to be happening here over the course of next days and weeks. And I'm much better now than I was last week. It's just we were thinking this summer with this other treatment, she would be able to, be on course to live for a while, at least a normal life, have a child on her own, and that completely reversed. And so that was a real shock for us. But I tell you, you'll never meet a person like my daughter. Is just that will to live, that unbelievable, resilient spirit, just unstoppable. She went after the first time where she went and got her degree in master's degree in special ed, and teaches special ed today. So here she was planned on living life, and that's what she's doing. So in any case, I just want to leave you with that my theory is, as long as you've got a bat to swing, you swing the bat. That's what we're doing. So in any case, thank you very much. I appreciate everything you're doing, the well wishes, the texts, the emails, just unbelievably fulfilling and rewarding, So in any case,
Well, that's good news. We're glad to hear that, Gary.
yeah, man. So in any case, I will gladly keep everybody posted as things develop and evolve. Another quick lesson here, I'll move on here. To just really never take anything for granted. And I know some of this stuff comes with the aging, maturing process, but man, you gotta have faith, you gotta have, yep, you gotta have, I don't know how anybody without it, I just don't, you have to have a lot of it. And thankfully I've got a lot of it. And, I've talked to people, heard from people in Canada. I mean, there's one little church I went to called the Little Chapel in Scottsdale, Arizona. They reached out to me. I'm like, wow. I mean, that's just amazing. So in any case, power of the fellowship and network. And I'm telling you, never know how it's going to pay out for you. Boy, it sure does. So in any case, and if you guys have any questions, I'm much more comfortable now speaking about it. I was not in a position to do that, So
we got some people that need promoted, Gary. We got looks like Bonetta and Gina, and PF.
Okay.
Lisa, Chris Latham's, Susan Murray, Teresa Green. I mean, there's about 10 attendees now.
Okay. All right.
There's Gina. I see her now.
Thank you, Rob.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Hi, Randy.
Okay. I think I've got everybody. PF. Okay. Okay. Do I have everybody? All right. Okay, guys. A couple things here.
Hey, Gary.
Yes.
Gary, can we do just one thing real quickly?
Yeah.
PF, where are you? There you are. Hang on, I can see you coming on. Give me a second. Give PF 1 second.
Okay, there he is.
Okay, PF, can you do the same thing you did last week? Just for a real quick second? About cameras? You're on mute. There you go. Yes.
I don't recall
Oh my
what my
God.
background.
I put you in charge of this. Do you guys remember what I put PF in charge of?
Oh, yes, yes. So, as you all know, we are beautiful people, and we look the way we look, and there is no one who is more embarrassed about the way he looks on camera and pictures than me. And here I am showing you my beautiful face. So please show yours also. And also, as part of the NAEA, which I haven't gotten access to yet, there is big talk about showing your face on video, even if you're not comfortable. Actually, the more you do it, the more comfortable you become. And that is like a courtesy or a professional thing, but also I see it more as a way of building trust. You know, like I didn't know who Liz was until I saw her at an event. And then I was like, actually, Susan was like, oh, Liz is here. I knew who Gina was, and I knew who Liz was, and I knew who Tom was. So I went and I introduced myself. And Susan was like, oh, Liz is here too. And I was like, who's Liz? So then she finally walked me over and said, this is Liz. And I was like, oh my God. So building that trust and that comfort with one another is really important for us as a team. And so I am, yes, calling you out. I'm taking a little bit of time from Gary's precious time, because it is important, because he's putting a lot of effort to show us the trade, the tricks of the trade. And so does Gina and the rest of us. And I know that it's dinner time. Actually, my dinner is burning right now on the stove. I can smell it. But nevertheless, you know, put on your cameras as much as possible. We look the way we look. We're not all of us are as handsome as Gary. Some of us have no hair, but that's fine, you know, and whatever you're doing is fine. Actually, it gives me a sense of intimacy with you, and more of a connection, because it's like you're showing yourself the way you are in the comfort of your kitchen. So I have to go turn off my stove. So I'll be right back.
Thank you,
Thanks,
PF.
Thea. All right. Okay, guys, let's go ahead and get going. I do want to recognize Chris Latham and Kai Zhang, because they got two little ones, one on each lap. And I see Chris's looks like grandson's showing off a new Halloween toy. How you doing, little buddy?
Grandson is visiting.
Hot dog.
Hi, Micah.
Hi, Micah.
You're
Hi,
Micah.
Micah.
Hi.
Hi, Micah.
Oh, that is so awesome. We see kids.
Yeah, that's right. The family's growing. So what I want to do tonight, and please stay till after we're done with the scripting, because I want to talk about Teresa Green and Michelle Hereford, okay, and what they're offering for the team. But in the meantime, I want to focus on scripting that has to do with investors. And I thought we start off with the very first phone call. And the reason I decided to start off with the very first phone call with an investor is, oddly enough, I just happened to be in a car on Saturday where someone was receiving a first-time call from a would-be investor and followed the script to it. Unbelievable. It was like better than I could have done it myself. So let me show you where you can find all this stuff. So I'm going to do a share screen. Hang on one second. Share. And thanks to Gina and the ops team, they put all this in a nice user-friendly format for us just in the last week. Okay. So I guess I should start at the beginning. Let me start it. I'm going to start over again. Hang on one second. Start fresh with the website. So you go to the website, realestatewithgarywilson.com. Okay. And for all of us, we're just going to go into the members area. The front page is more of a, for people who've never seen us before, they can grab a free book and things like that and listen to a, be on a video, that type of thing. But you're already in, so we're going to go to where you would normally go, which is your dashboard. Now, mine took me right there because I'm already logged in. Okay. But for scripts, this is for everybody who's already on the team. If you're a guest and you're not on the team, I can share this with you. Okay. I don't mind sharing. But if you go into GIA resources, these are resources over and above what you would normally get through general membership. But any case, go into the GIA resources and you'll see each of these red tabs as a link to another page. And all the descriptions, again, thankfully, most of these we have Gina to thank for. Everybody give Gina a pat on the back and a hand raise and a thank you, because I believe the majority of these are from Gina's more traditional type scripting. Okay. And all you do is you click on this, like basis scripts, buyer scripts, door knocking scripts. Here, let's click on door knocking scripts, because this is one thing that we really actually don't do for investors is door knocking. But for regular consumer owner occupants, this is one of the best things you could ever do, guys. Build your sphere, establish yourself in whatever community you're in. Okay. And if you can see over here to the left, you can click on open house. Actually, it's out there twice for some reason, but let me move my panel over. And if you scroll down, here's the actual scripting, and it's in Word document format, which means all we got to do is click on file and make a copy. Okay. And save it, or save it to Google. You don't need to do that because it's already there, but save yourself a copy. Okay. Or cut and paste, however you want to do it. And that's how you get your scripts. So I'm going to close that one out. Okay. And I'm not sure if the one I want to go over with you is actually in here. I just realized it's in a training material and not in the other material. Let me see if I can find it here first. If not, I'll show you exactly where to get it.
Is it Shake the Tree, Gary?
Shake the Tree is,
Because I know that one's not mine, and basic scripts, well, I don't believe was mine either. Might be, but I don't remember it. The rest of them look like mine.
yeah, Shake the Tree is really, it's what the verbiage we put in an email when we're going to send a booklet out, our famous booklet out to a group of people. Maybe we just got our license. Maybe we just moved brokerages. Maybe we just decided to be an
I'm
investor.
so excited. Yeah, I'm so excited. Okay, got it.
That's an excellent one. Work with me scripts. I'm not sure those basic scripts. Let me check them real quick. If not, I'll know exactly where to go get it. Yeah, these aren't the one. So
Yeah,
these are scripts when you're cold calling for investors. Okay. And we've gone over these before. So let me save this for later. If we have time, we'll go over these. But these first two up here are alternatives to leaving a voicemail. The third was an actual conversation. Somebody answers the phone, and down here are handling objections. But let me just hold those off for just a second. I'm going to go back to my dashboard.
Great.
Go to investor agent.
Can you
Oh, sorry.
have Bev take your scripts and build them into our scripts, that scripts page also then? So we've got
Correct.
one page. Beautiful. Thanks so much, Bev. You
Yep.
rock.
So if you click on investor agent and you scroll down, you want, I believe it's modules 5 and 6. So let's click on module 5. This is like the meat and potatoes of working with flippers, and module 6 is the meat and potatoes of working with landlords. Okay. Tip. These are okay. These are things we go over in that particular module. But what we really want is the PDF for that. So every module has audio, video, and the accompanying PDF, which is the transcription of the audio visual lesson, and it's been edited in educational format. So bear with me. I should be able to find this. Here it is, step-by-step working with investors. Okay, there it is. Now, this doesn't have the full script. I'm going to step you through it. But module 5 in investor agent has the one working with flippers. Module 6 is working with landlords, people buying rentals. Okay, this is what you're going to do when you decide to work with a prospect. You know, you've interviewed them, you're qualifying them, and you're going to put your time and effort and energy into helping them find a good flip. Okay, so leading up to that, here's what you do. The perfect example. Let's say, actually, let's do this in a role play format. So Gina, can I have you be the caller? You're calling me, and you're interested in investing. So
I'm calling you and I'm interested in investing. Am I the
Yeah.
agent or am I
you're the flipper. Yep.
I'm the flipper? Okay.
So, and I'm gonna just step you right through it. So,
All right.
Okay.
Walk me through it.
okay. So ring, ring, ring. Hello.
Hi.
Hi. May I ask who's calling, please?
Okay. Am I the agent, Gary?
No, you're the flipper. You're the investor.
All right. So you're gonna walk me through it. All right. My name's Gina. Oh, so
You're-
okay.
Yes,
Am
you're
I-
calling me. Yep.
I'm calling you. All right. I'm trying to get you to do business. Okay. So where is my script?
No, I'm going to do the scripting. You're gonna.
Okay. Hey, this is Gina and I'm with EXP. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic.
Is this
I'm guessing you must have seen one of my Facebook posts with an example of a flip, or perhaps a book that I sent out.
Oh, yes, I did. And that is why I'm calling you today.
Awesome. Which did you get? Both of which one did you like, by the way? Did you get multiple?
Oh my gosh, I saw the flip. I'm super interested in flipping. I
Okay.
haven't done it yet, but I think that that's what I want to do. I see the market going up. I really, I want to make money.
Okay. Would you mind if I asked you a couple questions?
Go for it.
Okay. Have you ever read a book on flipping or taking a seminar on flipping, or what's your experience? I know you haven't flipped before, but any learning material you've had access to?
Not really. I just kind of saw your stuff and I've seen a house down the street where they flipped as well. And I mean, it was the ugliest house on the street and it's really nice now. And it seemed to sell really fast.
Okay, excellent. Well, I'll tell you what, if we do end up working together, and I think there's a high likelihood of that, I'll be able to share with you some training material on flipping. It's academically based, so it's not like the infomercial stuff where, hey, you don't have to have cash or credit and you can make $1 million in your first year. That's possible, but we teach you first and then we implement with you. We guide you through the flipping process. Does that sound like a pretty good approach to you flipping a home?
So you're going to walk me through it?
Absolutely. Yep.
Really? And
Yep.
why would you do that?
Because it's in your best interest and it's in my best interest. When you work with a certified investor agent, and I'm a member of the global investor agent team, we're all certified investor agents. We've also undergone certain training. So we know how to identify, analyze, and even negotiate off-market and on-market properties for you. And we know that if we can help you become more informed yourself, we form a really tremendous partnership that's profitable for everybody. And we know you're making good decisions because we've helped you learn what you need to learn to be able to do that.
Wow. So, okay. All right. What's the hook? What's the catch?
Okay. Well, there really is no hook, but I do have some more questions to ask you. Mind if I ask you some more questions?
All right.
Okay. Well,
You have
first
my
thing is,
interest.
yeah, great. So guys, here's where you really want to start really paying attention. All right, this next part. So Gina, as you might imagine, this is a big business. People are flipping
Can you bring
homes
me a Coke or some water,
every
please?
day all over the place.
Never mind, I got water.
We got to mute somebody, whoever's. Okay. Any case, as you might imagine, people all over the world want to flip homes every single day. And as a result, that means people selling homes are getting a lot of phone calls, a lot of offers, multiple offers, things like that. So we have to demonstrate that we know who you are. We've interviewed you. We've screened you to make sure you're ready, willing, able, that type of thing. So the first question I want to ask you is this: do you know what you have in savings?
Yeah, I do actually.
Excellent. Okay. Now, do you know what your credit score is?
Yep, I know that too.
That's a good sign. Okay, here's the $64,000 question. Do you have $64,000? No, just kidding. The $64,000 question is this: do you have an available line of credit?
You mean like a HELOC or something?
Correct. Could be a home equity line of credit, could be a personal line of credit. And what it does is it allows you to strike fast. Because when we go out there looking for a property, Gina, we have a process to follow. It's a method we've been using for decades, allows us to move quickly, swiftly, and using the right information, the right tools to be decisive and make the right decisions at the right time. So one way we can implement that is to make sure you can strike quickly by being able to write a check from a line of credit. Does that make sense?
It totally makes sense. And I don't have a HELOC or anything like that. I mean, I've got credit cards, but I wasn't looking at using that. And I have been saving my money and my credit scores are in the 8s. So what would I need to do?
Okay, we'll help you with that too. Typically, I would ask you to go to the bank that you already bank with, and just go in there and use this language. Say, hi, I'm Gina Hansen. I'm a homeowner and I'm looking to flip another home in my neighborhood. I'm aligned with a certified investor agent. I have training available to me, and I want to ask you, Mr. and Mrs. Lender, what would you suggest, and what's the best way to approach this? What lending products do you have available to some of your fellow consumers like me? So that's what Gina, would ask them and make them a partner in the process. Okay.
Okay.
Now, so let me ask you this. Is this something you're looking to do like right away, today, tomorrow, this week, or you're looking maybe like next year sometime? What's your timing on this?
Yesterday.
Excellent. Okay. Now, if we find you a property, and let's say we decide to work together, okay, it's a co-symbiotic relationship, and I actually find you 5 properties to look at by tomorrow, would you be able to go out with me on Wednesday so we can go walk through the 5 properties together and I can show you step by step how you actually analyze a flip?
Yes, but I haven't talked to my bank yet. So I would have to do that. And I would want to meet you also before, because I don't know you yet.
Fair enough. Okay. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and go to the next step, which is this. I'm going to have you email me with a recap of our conversation. And the reason is I just want to make sure I understand everything from your perspective. I want to see what your understanding is from your perspective. And that way also will have the information I need, because I keep a file on all of my clients. It's a private confidential file. And if you do decide to work with me, we'll sign a document that basically says I owe you confidentiality. Okay. Otherwise, you're just out there operating, flying in the wind, and any agent can say anything they want, and any consumer, when we work together, I can promise you nobody's going to know your information other than me. And if I find out information from other parties, I'm going to share it with you, guaranteed. Okay.
Okay.
That's why sound fair?
It does, actually.
Okay. So let's take the next step here. I'm going to give you my email. It's Gary@rewgw.com. If you could email me tonight, just a quick paragraph, that would be awesome. And then tomorrow, go ahead and feel free to call your banker, see if you can make an appointment. And how about if you and I, instead of planning to meet on Wednesday to look at properties, let's just plan on meeting just to have a cup of coffee, and I'll show you some of the training material I was referring to earlier. How about that?
That's exactly what I was going to suggest, because I'm not going to go meet you at property until we sit down and you buy me a Starbucks first.
You got it. I've got a Starbucks gift card waiting right here in my pocket.
I love the recap email. That's the first time I've heard that. That is brilliant.
Yeah. And guess why it's so brilliant, everybody?
You did it.
You're buying it.
Yeah. If Gina doesn't email me, do I keep chasing her down? I used to do that. And I when you're beginning, you maybe want to do that. But when you become a seasoned veteran agent, you believe me, you'll have enough business. You won't have to be chasing people down, because Gina's showing me with our first interaction the 5 things I need: timing, motivation, readiness, willingness, and ability. So let me repeat those: timing, motivation, readiness, willingness, and ability. So let's just cover those. That I cover timing with Gina. Yep, Gina seemed to be motivated. Absolutely. Does she seem like she's ready? In other words, she's got ammunition. She's got some savings. She knows what her credit score is, and she doesn't have a line of credit, but she seems willing to do that. So that's, we call that readiness to do that. Does that sound fair? And willingness is she's willing to make an appointment with her banker. She's willing to send me an email, right? Shows me willingness. And ability, we kind of covered that, but it kind of goes along with the readiness. So in any case, let's just take a pause here and take questions. Any questions on the script or the 5 qualifications and the whole purpose of the email?
How do you handle when they say, well, what's it going to cost me?
What I would say is it costs you absolutely nothing if you do nothing. But if you do something, I earn a commission, but generally speaking, I earn that from the seller. So even then, you don't even have to there's no money you pay for this privilege to work with me. The seller pays my commission.
Okay.
I love your timing, motivation, ready, willing, able. I
Yep.
switch it around to willing, able, WAR, ready. I switched around to warmth because I put H on the end,
Oh,
because
that's
if
right.
all those things match, you get help. You help them.
Yep.
Love it. Gary, also, could you go over, I love those 3 questions. I want the whole script, obviously, and
Okay.
I love the 3 questions. Do you know how much you have in savings? Do you know what your credit score is? And do you have is it a HELOC?
Available line of credit.
Available line of credit. Okay. Love it.
So
Yeah,
Melanie,
question, Gary. Those questions, I'm not looking at the script right now, but those weren't in the script, correct? You just asked
Yeah,
those.
I apologize. I just, instead of me trying to find them, I thought they were right here. I'm gonna have to have Beverly type those in.
I just
But
want
it's
to.
yeah, it's absolutely critical. And I will tell you, so Melanie, the reason I ask them that way is I learned a long time ago when I would ask people, hey, how much money do you have? That was more of a confront. And me asking, do you know what you have in savings? That's more passive, but it still gives me the answer I need,
Right. I love it.
Yeah, same thing with the credit score. If I came around and say, hey, Melanie, what's your credit score? Some people maybe not be too happy with their credit score, but when I asked, do you know what it is? I've never had, and Gina did it perfectly. I didn't prepare Gina for this. I just called on her. But I can tell you guys, over all the years since 2002, I've been using that script. I've never once had a person not say, yes, it's 793 or 642 or 538. Every single time I'll get what I need, And then the available line of credit, half the time those generate a question. I'm not sure. They'll say, what do you mean by that? And I'll explain, well, what it does is if you have an available line of credit, that tells the seller that some bank somewhere thinks highly enough of you that they're willing to give you a line of credit based on equity in your home or your reputation. And the fact that you have some of it available also tells me that you haven't spent it all on cars and boats and planes and things like that. You're disciplined enough to have some of it available. And I can tell you from experience, Gina, Melanie, who we're speaking to, in my experience of all the investors I've been worked with, that's one of the key factors that determines success is, it's fun when you make money. It is a lot of fun, believe me, but you got to play defense too. You got to put points on the board and you got to protect your lead. You got to hang on to some of what you got. And the fact that you've shown that you can do that tells me you've got what it takes to succeed in this. When I say those things, I'm saying them because I'm sincere about it, but I've had people tell me months, years later, Gary, those words you told me is what got me over the fence because I wasn't quite sure. But when you said the fact that I'm disciplined enough of my money to be successful with this, that I knew that moment I was going to work with you and go to the next step. I've had it happen dozens of times,
The only thing I had as we were going through it was literally, how do I meet with you so that I can see if I trust you? And so I was kind of waiting for like, when is that happening? And then you're like, how about we meet first at Starbucks? Oh, yep, golden.
Yeah.
And that was just from my side of what I would feel like if I'd answered your phone call from the other end of it.
Yeah.
I do really like the way that you asked the 3 questions too, because it feels like It's very non-invasive and it goes just slightly deeper and slightly deeper and slightly deeper. So you're edging your way into that, like you said, versus the, because if you said, you know, how much money do you have? I literally would have been like,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. And it does it. Basically, what we're trying to do is we are gathering information, no doubt about it. But really what I'm looking for is, do they have that, like that burning desire? That's really what I'm looking for. You know, if they don't have a line of credit or their credit scores maybe in the 500s or something, you know, I know people I can team them up with to get that in the 600 range. So I know they can get a loan. But I will tell you this, guys, I have learned, and this may be a hard-nosed kind of an approach to this, but of those three things, if I only have one of those, I will just put them on a long-term drip. Okay. If they have two of the three, we're going to move forward. If they have all three, we're going to move forward tonight. I mean, I will really ask them for small commitments. Can you get the email to me tonight? Because what I realized, what I knew is this: if they take that small commitment tonight, it may only be 5 minutes. That shows me so many things. They really are sincere. They're action takers, right? They're committed. They're showing three. Here's the three things they're showing to me. You actually write this down. Number one, they're showing me they're willing to engage with me, right? Gina was willing to meet with me to have coffee. They're willing to engage with me. They're telling me personal information. They're showing me that they're willing to make a commitment, make a small commitment now, which will lead to what? A big commitment later, right? And the third thing is are they an action taker? And I know a lot of you know me more personally now, and some of you know me a long time. Would you say I'm an action-oriented person?
Yes.
And I'd tell you, I look for the same thing. I just, you know, it's something magnetic and magical about it. When you find another action taker, you are going to get results. It's just a matter of applying the systems, the methodologies, the discipline, so that you can stay between the guardrails and not make too many mistakes, you know. But those that I'm looking for: engagement, commitment, and action. And Gina showed all three. Now, again, if they're lacking a line of credit, for example, that's a no-brainer. You know, it's an easy thing to set up. Credit score. Now, that may take a few months, but the guy that I've used in the past for people I've worked with, his name is Paul Ritter, and he's one of our prime resources. In fact, I'm going to have him come on a class with us. I'm going to write that down. I knew him way back when he was starting at Pittsburgh. He's now working in all the states. And he's worked with more agents around the country than I know personally. He's gotten that good at it. And everybody, he's like we used to call him the fixer, because he would fix stuff, you know. And I don't know how I know what he does. They bombard the merchants with letters. I mean, just swamp them in letters, and they give up. And all of a sudden your credit score was whoop, like that, you know, 50 points, 100 points, and it gets stuff off your credit report. They're just good at it, really good at it. So in any case, Paul Ritter. So these things we can fix. But again, what I'm looking for is two of the three, right? You know, cash, good credit score, line of credit. Two of those three need to be there to take action now on my part. If there's only one of the three, I'll set them up on a long-term drip. You let them, you know, have, you know, free books and come on the classes and things like that, to keep them motivated. I tell you what, Zig Ziglar said it perfectly. Motivation is like bathing. You got to do it every so often, you know. It's not a one and done kind of a thing, you know. So, okay, let me check the chat box here. But guys, you can unmute yourself too if you have questions. Don't be shy.
I have a question. You know, when you were going through the script with Gina and you asked her to go to her bank to see if she can get approved?
Yes.
Would you not recommend like a lender that you were working with?
I would, Laura, that's an excellent question. The reason I recommend a consumer first go to the bank they're already working with is simply because they already have a relationship there. And I know in my past, in my experience, I had far more luck going to the banks I work with, greater success, I shouldn't say like greater success, than I did go in the banks I didn't know. Another thing, Laura, and for everyone, please write this down. Particularly for beginning investors, small local community banks makes it so much easier. they're so much easier to work with. I'm not knocking big banks. I used to work for one, but big banks operate based on pro forma models and silos. Or so if you don't fit in a particular silo, like they have a silo for single family homes, a silo for duplexes.
So we had to change the name. We already had a notorious reputation.
Hey guys, see somebody's. Let me find who it is. Oh, there he goes. Okay. Is this Kyle Holleran? Is this Kyle Holleran in Atlanta? Let me just see here real quick. Since Kyle asked a question, I just want to make sure.
Say yes.
Say yes, because there's also I know another Kyle Holleran. Now I don't see Kyle in here. Hey Kyle, if you can hear me, we do have agents in Atlanta. In fact, if I was you, we have some Atlanta agents on the Zoom call right now, and they're certified investor agents. So I would just let them know who you are, and they'll type in there. So if you're in Atlanta, if you're one of the Atlanta agents, please type in your name and email and phone number for Kyle. So Laura, back to your question. Local community banks, they don't work on silos. The silo approaches big banks as a model for each type of loan, and they fit you in one of those silos. But if you don't fit neatly in a silo, they kick you out, and they don't even tell you why. They say, "I'm sorry, you didn't get approved. Adios amigos." Small local banks actually look at you and your project, and they analyze it right for its credibility and level of risk and so forth. So that's how they make their decision. They're more likely to approve you because they have a relationship with you. That's why, Laura, that's why I take that approach. Is based on my own personal experience. I didn't start using big banks till I started buying bigger properties, and I still don't. I just don't like working with them.
Another word about that, if I can interject, from
Yep.
my point of view, I felt comfortable out of this random call going to my own bank versus someone telling me, "I want you to talk to my guy." Because normally in real estate, I will always flip you over to my guy, always, or girl, whatever it is. But because of the nature of this one, he was like, "You should go to your bank." Oh, well, I can go to my bank tomorrow. I'm comfortable with that. Don't know if I know your guy or not. So I like that. And then Gary, based on your advice, when we moved out here to Florida, I called every single bank, all the little ones. You said look for like under, I don't know, 13 branches or something. I forget, 30, I forget what it was. But I called all the local ones, and I literally was like, "Do you portfolio your loans?" And when I found the two that said yes, I was like, "Okay, which one's closer to my house? This one, that's where we bank."
Yeah. Yep. They're called portfolio lenders, which means they keep their loans in their portfolio versus the banks that are doing FHA loans. They're selling or I shouldn't say this.
Bundling.
Yeah, if they're using Fannie Mae underwriting, they're selling those in bundles to Wall Street, and you and I can invest in them through mutual funds. So they're reselling selling the loans, regaining their capital, and re-lending the capital. It's called fractional lending. And if you ever wondered about that, that's a big reason why we had the last recession, because there was a lot of fractional lending going on with some bad loan documents floating around out there.
Do you have anyone that can teach a class on that? Because it's really fascinating how many moves through the system and back around again.
Yeah, I could probably, yeah. It does, I tell you what, it does help you understand things better, that's for sure. I could probably do it, and I came from banking, but having somebody, I like having guests, and I think I know who I'm gonna have for that too.
Cool, yeah. That'd be cool.
His name is Jim Martin, and he's I've known him for years, and he knows it inside out, backwards, left and right, from every angle.
That would be a fabulous class. I would love to see that.
Yep. Okay. Okay. Any more questions on that scripting and that initial having that conversation? What's interesting, the one I heard the other day, again, I was in a car, and I wish I had it recorded because it was like spot on, just very natural. And what I was doing there was really following a script. In real life, there's going to be more banter going back and forth, I'll give you some hints. So if I hear a dog in the background, I would ask them, oh, cool. What kind of dog do you have? Okay. Partly because I love dogs, but also it endears you to that person, and it's a common thread. There's something you have in common. Or if I hear kids in the background, hey, wow, how many kids you have? You ever thought about teaching them how to invest too? So in any case, all those things really add up to a good long-term relationship. And I will tell you guys, I've probably developed more friendships out of this business than I ever got business from my friends. Isn't that a crazy commentary? But it's true. I've had investors invite me to their children's weddings. I had one investor take my brother Charlie and I out skiing with him to Vail, Colorado. The guy, I helped him flip a 15-unit building. He made about $300,000 on it after taxes and everything. Everything paid for door to door on a home overlooking the slopes in Vail.
Wow.
And because I helped him flip home, and he came to me from another guy who was a managing director for UBS Financial. And it's just interesting. And we're all three, it's been years now. They're older than me. They're in their 70s. And we're all good friends. We golf together, do stuff like that. And I tell you, one of the most rewarding things is years and years later, still having those relationships. And we do other things together, like Mark is a consultant. He helped, I'll just tell you, his father was the guy that started the Athlete's Foot shoe company. And they grew it to 650 franchises. And Mark was a franchisor. Now he consults with other people who want a franchise. And I wasn't born that way. Believe me, those guys would not have been my friend when I was younger. Okay. Because I didn't come from that side of the tracks. But I learned from being in business to listen, right, and serve them well. And when you do that, you do a good job, and you're straight shooter. Believe me, people will notice that. All of us, our intuitive abilities will pick up on that kind of genuine, authentic behavior. And I always remember this. My old broker used to tell me, you focus on the relationship first and not the transaction. Where a lot of agents focus on the transaction first. And they will do a good job on a transaction, then I got a relationship, which is partly true. But focus on a relationship first, and you'll never have a shortage of transactions. Okay. You guys ready to move on to some more scripting? Okay. So let me go here back to where I was. Where was I? Back here. All right. Now, this is something we're using right now. And you've all seen this because I've gone over this already a couple times in the last couple of months. One of these, the second one, is actually for Michael Usery. So Michael, thank you for sharing that with us. This is when you're leaving a voicemail, okay? And so I'm looking at number 2 here. So a ring of the answering machine picks up. And I wait till they get through their message, and I'll say, hi, Amy. This is Gary Wilson. I want to ask you, if this is not the correct number, you are not the correct person. Please let me know right away so I don't keep calling you and bothering you. My number is. Now, when I first saw this, I thought, actually, it's very good, but it's also a way to get people, like, to jar them. It's like I forget what they call it. It's called the pattern interrupt. They call it a pattern interrupt because they're not expecting a voicemail like that. And Michael, how many callbacks would you say you get on? What's the percentage of callbacks would you say on that voicemail script?
I'll call out 400 in a day, and I'll probably get 2 people call me back. And the purpose of doing it is I want their number to know which number is correct to follow up with them in 3 or 4 months.
Yeah. Well, by the way, I get more and more conversation. People want to know more about Mojo Dollar. So,
Mojosales.com, or
Yep.
have them call me. I'll tell them what I know.
Yep. And so what it is, guys, it's a way to automate the dialing, systematize the dialing, so you're not manually dialing everything. And my old school methodology was always to direct dial, because we would narrow our list down to an average of 300 people and then hand dial, okay, which still works. But if you really want to move more quickly, you would create a larger file. Instead of 300, you might have created a file of 3,000 leads, then run it through the auto dialer, in this case, Mojo Dollar, okay? And you'll burn through a lot more numbers, but it saves you a bundle of time. And then the calls you get are only the ones you want to have. You follow what I'm saying? So you're only having the phone calls you want to have. So at the end of the day, and it's not that much more expensive. I think it's like 60 something dollars a month to start. And there's an extra, if you have more dollars, there's a little bit more money. And I think Michael uses $3.
I use a $3. I don't take any data from them because we get our own and then have it skip traced. But I do anywhere between 3,000 to 5,000 in a file, and then I break those files down to 500 increments. So when I can finish that, I can do my data and log in on that. Then I move to the next file. Makes it easier mentally to say, hey, instead of 5,000, I'm only doing 500.
Yeah. Yep. So it's one of those time versus money things, guys. And there's multiple schools of thought. I've always been more of a direct dollar, but also I'm one of those rare people that always send something first. I would send them something, a Facebook message, a message on LinkedIn, an email, right? Or something in the mail, like something that actually looks, I wish I had I don't have one here, but like a manila folder, right? And their name and address handwritten. So it looks like I'm going to open that thing up, and they'll see a booklet with a cover letter, samples of recent flips or recent rentals that somebody's bought or sold, a calculator, a spreadsheet, maybe a recent article in the paper or on the news or on the internet, and then I would follow up with a phone call. That was always my mode of operation. And we still will do that. In normal times, we'll do that. But in times like these, when everything's fast, I mean, you've got to be lightning quick, direct dialing and even Mojo dialing is even better because it's faster. It's more efficient.
Part of the thing about the Mojo is you don't know what numbers, the property address and their name, but I'm trying to weed out all the garbage so I can get down to their name and number and then verify their email address also. Then, like you said, take it to the next step, send them something, email them that way. Because with this data, I might have 7 or 8 numbers and 3 or 4 emails. I don't know who they belong to.
Yeah. That's something else. Mojo Dollar, doesn't it clean up your data for you? So if it has a bad number, it automatically removes it.
If it's a bad number disconnected and it'll take it out. Sometimes it won't, and I can take it out. If someone tells you never call me again, you can take it out. For that system will never call that number no matter what it ever comes up in another file or anything. And then it literally bad numbers disconnect them, but takes them out of the system so you never call them back automatically.
Yeah.
It does a lot of legwork. When I was dialing by hand, I was lucky to do 15 in an hour. And now I'm doing 250, 300. Just depends on how long I talk to somebody. And if somebody answers and talks, I talk. I'll talk an hour with them if I need to.
Yeah. Thanks, Michael. I'm sorry I'm smiling as I'm looking at Sandy's screen and her cat is showing off her beautiful tail.
And I thought you were smiling at me, Gary.
Hey, so let's do this. I'm going to do the first number 1 now, and then we'll go to number 3 and I'll role play again. So number 1 is our original one, which is, hi, Amy, I'm Gary Wilson. I'm calling you about your property located at 123 Main Street. I live nearby and I'd like to speak to you. I'd actually say with you about your property. Would you please call me at your earliest convenience? My number is, okay. Now, if you notice in here in 1 and 2, why is it that we don't have to tell them in a voicemail that we're a realtor?
You're not asking for the business yet.
Yeah, it's a one directional thing. We're not having a conversation. And
Can I say something about that? So I did a test on one zip code, which was 3,000. And I did say I was a real estate agent with EXP. I did another 1,000 after that I was an investor. And now I just say my name and don't say anything, and I get more response without saying either one of those.
Exactly. Yep.
And one other thing that's important, do everything you can to have your caller ID show your first name and last name. A lot of people answer the phone and say, well, I wouldn't answer if your name hadn't come up.
Yep.
What I love about what you just said is that you A/B tested it, ABC tested it actually to figure out which one was most effective. I
Yeah.
really love that.
Yeah. And something else you said was making sure your phone has your call ID has your name, first and last name.
Yeah.
That's something in your mobile phone that you can do.
You got to do that on Google. You got to go get a business thing on Google, Facebook,
Got
make
that.
sure your numbers all allocated with all these things, because it's searching those numbers and names, and occasionally it still comes up as spam, depending on what network it's on. But it's real important to make sure your name is showing, because I probably get 8 to 12 calls a day that are spam.
So does Mojo let you identify your name when you use the Mojo dialer?
No, it only allows you to put in a number, and you can put any number you want, your cell, Google Office, or whatever. I use my cell because I want to answer the phone. I want to talk to you. I don't use my Google. I don't use the KV private number either. I have a number on the KV core. I don't use that either. That's only used when I get into the marketing, but I want everything to my cell phone, everything. Not only that, when they call, they hear, hey, you reached Michael Ussery, please leave a name, number, and information, and I've even taken off that I'm a real estate agent off of my voicemail, because as soon as they hear that, they think, okay, you're after listing my house, or as soon as they hear investor, oh, you don't want to pay me enough money.
Mm-hmm.
Also go to your carrier. If your name is not showing up, which I tested with some friends, because I would call a friend and they said I was showing up as, like, I showed up as Brad Pitt or something. It was weird. And I'm like, clearly not Brad Pitt.
You would want that, so they'll answer.
All right, tip of the day.
Mariah Carey.
Exactly.
Question for you, Michael. Quick question for you, Michael and Gary, regarding that. Here in Massachusetts, I'm supposed to put in my voicemail and all that stuff for my business number that I am in real estate, that I'm an agent. So do you have a separate number for the investing side?
The way I'm around that is my cell phone is my personal number. I am not soliciting you to do anything. I'm calling you to ask a question about a property. That's the law in Florida that I can get around with that do not call list. So if I'm calling you to sell you something, I have to identify myself, but I'm not selling you anything. I have nothing to sell. I'm just calling out of curiosity to ask you a question. That's it.
Also, I would double check and see what your state regs are, because sometimes they'll say, you have to do ABCD, when in reality, the state regs don't really say that. So I would double check what the state regs actually do say.
Well, now if I'm calling for sale by owners and expired, I do identify myself, because I am calling to list your property.
Mm-hmm.
But in this case, absentee owners, I'm calling to ask you about it. I may be asking you about renting it. Hey, I got a client which is true. I have clients that need properties to rent. I'm calling to ask you a question. I'm not calling to sell you something. Unlike expired and for sale by owners, that's Florida. That's what my attorney told me. But my attorney also said, be very careful when you call that, because we have a big attorney here in town, which I have to know a couple of his guys that are literally taking on those cases. And there's been a couple of realtors get nailed because they're calling up and saying, hey, I want to list your house. I never bring that up about listing your house. I always say, do you need help selling it? After we're into a conversation.
I do know in Florida, it was actually on the news about people texting also, real estate agents texting, random texting, and it literally made the news 3 weeks ago.
Can I make a remark about that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Can I ask you about that?
Yes, please.
So aren't we in sales?
Absolutely.
So how do you sell?
Absolutely. But the question is about identifying.
Well, it's a conversation. I don't text or email you unless I know you and have some contact with you at some time. That I call that spamming.
Mhm.
So I don't want to just put these, and I hear a lot of this advertised out now. Oh, just text everybody first before you call them. Well, no, because I want to talk to you. I don't want to text with you. However, if you say that's how I communicate, which I do run into people like that, say, well, look, just text me. I can get back to you. Then I'll text you. But I mean, how do you make a sell? You go buy a car. How do you make a sell? It's not on the computer. Well, today it may be, but but to me, sales is a conversation. That's everything I've read and learned. That's it. I learned that when I became a general contractor, putting out flyers and knocking on doors. If I had a conversation, I got a job. If I didn't have a conversation, left the flyer, I never got a job.
It is. It's the relationship first, just like that old broker told me. Yep. John Zinsner.
Just my opinion.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
one other thing, Gary.
Mhm.
You talk about that comment in there where I say, call me if it's the wrong number or not, so I don't bother you. Another thing is when somebody's trying to argue or say things, I always say, well, I don't want to pay the commission. Well, can I ask you about that? Everybody always says yes, and I never come back to the question.
Mhm. Yeah. Okay. All right. And any other questions, guys? I'll go ahead and I'm going to go to number 3 now, and then it will naturally lead into objection handling. Let me check the chat box here. I saw 2 more chats come in. Verizon and Apple notifies you when incoming calls labeled spam. Silences those. Okay. How many cycles, Cindy? Okay, so I'll get the class from Jim, and I'll see if Paul Ritter can speak to us about the credit repair stuff. There's a good stuff to know, but okay. So back to this number 3. So let's say either I dialed somebody and they answered directly, or they're returning a voicemail. So Michael, would you mind being the investor with whom I've left a voicemail?
Okay.
And then you call me. I'm the realtor, the investor agent. So hello, this is Gary Wilson.
Hey, Gary, I was just returning your phone call.
Oh, is this
Michael?
Michael?
Yep.
Michael, thanks for calling me back. I appreciate it. Hey, the reason I'm calling you about your house at 123 Main Street is, first off, I am a realtor and an investor, and I work with investors, and we can't find anything to buy right now. Okay, I did my research to find out why, and I found out how I can find out who owns the properties. Of course, your name popped up. You own one or more properties. Would you ever consider selling even just one of them if the price was right?
For the right amount of money.
Exactly. So what I did, guys, is remember the voicemail, I didn't tell them I gave my name, but they didn't know what my role was. And right away, now that I'm having an actual, a 2-sided conversation, I get it out there. But what did I do? Did I just say I'm a realtor? What did it actually say? That I'm a realtor and an investor, and I work with investors. So it's too much for them. I didn't give them enough time to react to the realtor part, and I kept going. I took control of the conversation, and I didn't let go until I asked them if the price was right. And I slowed it down to put emphasis on that, because every investor is going to say, well, yeah, if the price is right, that's why I got in the business. I want to make money, Okay. So now, who wants to find out what happens at that point?
Can I ask a question?
I do.
Yes, sir.
So I've done it a couple ways. I find that if I say I'm a realtor, an investor, and work with investors, they hear realtor, they hear nothing else.
Mhm.
So I've been the last week I started saying I'm an investor, I work with investors, and I'm a realtor. So the investors seem to sink in their head instead of, oh, I'm not listing my house. So that's what comes out of their mouth first.
Yeah.
What do you
Good
think?
point. Yeah, I would say any of these are not meant to be completely cast in stone. I mean, in a conversation, it's definitely gonna take a turn left here and a turn right there. I mean, every conversation does. But you want to try to get that the whole point here is getting to where, would you ever consider selling even just one of your properties if the price was right? So it's almost like I'm putting them in control, even though I'm in control. And to think about it, if somebody approached you with that statement, you're like, geez, I got a live one here, you know? Heck, they'd pay anything for this hunk of junk, you know? So, and they're not always going to say that, by the way. I will tell the majority of people say, no, I'm just not interested right now. And that's okay. You know, you could politely respond to them and say, you know, hey, no worries, I understand. You're busy. It's the economy's great. You know, I hope it lasts a long time for everybody. Would it be okay if I sent you information that it's timely and relevant as it comes up? No, nothing to buy or sell. I'll just keep you informed. I have a large group of investors I work with. I'm one too, and we tend to look out for each other, you know? So usually I'll get a favorable response to that. Sometimes I'll get a note of that too, you know? But let's say Michael says, here's what I normally hear. Okay, you got my attention. Or what kind of number are you talking about? Or the most famous one of all is this. You know what? You bring me a buyer, I'll talk to you. Who's ever gotten that one? You know, in so many words. Yep. So here's what I would say to that, regardless of which of those three is. I'd say, that sounds fair enough. Let's do this. I'm going to gather some more information specifically on your property. Okay. In order to do that, I do need to see it. I'm just going to drive by it. I'm not going to disturb your tenants. I just want to go by and take a look at it. In the meantime, would you please send me just 1 year of information, just profit loss warning? I don't need your tax returns. I don't need, all I want to see is how it's performing. Does that sound fair enough? Because if I can't get that from them, I'm not going to get too far. Would you agree?
I run into a lot of what, I'm not going to give you that information, is what they tell me.
Yeah, you will. You get that a lot. But what I say is, in order for me to really find out what price is going to work for you, I need to know about the property. Just looking at the property is not going to help me. I have no idea what you're bringing in. I have no idea what you're paying out. You know, give me enough to work with. I'll call you back tomorrow night and we'll work on a price that works for you, you know? So I always put it back on them, and I use the word you a lot, you know, and give you a price that works for you. Famous guy named Dan Sullivan, who I worked with in years past, all of the gurus, he's their guru. And what he said was, he looked at one of the letters I wrote years ago, and you all have access to it. It's the letter we send to people with 7 sentences, I think. And we use the word you or your 10 times in 7 sentences. And what he said was, what happens is it's like this pinging that goes on in the subconscious mind. You want to use the word you or your early and often, because it's all about you. It's all about Michael. It's not about me at all. You know, if you notice, I never once said to Michael, you know what, I got voted the #1 agent in Daytona Beach area last year. I'm ABR, I'm CRS, and I'm ABC 1, 2, 3. Most consumers have no idea what that stuff means.
Or could care less.
Yep, and it makes it more like it's about me. It needs to be about Michael. Now, if I get rebuttal on that, I'll say, well, I'll tell you what, you know, maybe you're not ready right now to entertain this opportunity. And I understand that. However, if you'd like, I can keep you informed of what's going on out there. I've got investors right now chomping at the bit to buy something. I'll send you, as we get deals under contract or get deals sold, I'll send you those. You can get a feel for what things are selling for right now, just like yours in your area. Does that sound like a good idea?
So, food for thought. I've been beating this in my head about the objections. So about selling their property, I'm trying to come up with something more along the lines of, instead of selling the property, if we could sell your property and get you into a higher yielding investment.
Yep.
So I need help with that.
Yeah, that's another good approach, especially right now when all indications are we're heading right down the barrel of a recession. You know, inflation's up, you know, forbearance is over. There's so many factors. It's, you know, it'd be a mirror. I mean, the bottom line is this: I don't care what the factors are. We're always going to have a recession, and we're always going to have a recovery. That's how the business cycle works. So what Michael's saying is right now is very timely, because I could say, look, which leads into objection handling. I'll say, look at this.
What
why
if,
wouldn't you consider selling now when the market's clearly at a high? It's probably, it's either at or near the peak. Sell now while capital gains are at 15%. If you wait a year, shoot, not only could we hit a recession, but if Congress gets what they want, they're going to raise capital gains to 39%. If you end up selling for less and paying more in taxes, why not sell now where taxes are going to be low, keep more of your capital gain, let the market turn, and then let's go out there and get you into a bigger, better performing property. Is that,
Okay.
that's sort of like what
That's what I was trying to get in my head. Yeah.
Yep.
I like the sell now that you isolated, that command. And
Yep.
I also like, Michael, where you're going with this. If I could, if there's a way for you to be able to leverage this property, get a higher one that has a higher yield, are you interested? I really like that.
That's what I'm trying to come in my head and get down with.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
I think those two could combine in beautifully. But Gary, really nice use of that sell now command in there.
Yep.
You know you did that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, but now it's automatic.
Can you explain to other people what isolating that does?
Yeah, it does what it's supposed to do. And I know that because Gina taught me that about 12 years ago. No, just
Gina's
kidding.
fault.
So what it is, it's an embedded command. And you number one, you're using the word sell and you're using the word now. And it just creates a sense of urgency subconsciously in their mind. And it's automatic. You can't, every human being is subject to it, including us. Even though we know the business and we know the language patterns, we are still just as subject to it and vulnerable to it as any other consumer, but it plants that seed. And then when there's other follow-up news, like, inflation, now they're admitting, hey, it's really not 5.4%. They're saying it's 8 point something. Well, we all know it's well over 10%, but regardless, the point is every time they see something on the news, all of a sudden that sell now is going to resurface, So, yeah.
So, Gina, is there a way in the scripts for something when we're having the conversation, if there's an embedded command that we need to make sure is emphasized, there could be a bold print or something so that we know that that's where we had to have that emphasis of having the sell now and the pause for a couple of in your head, say ... so it lands in their world?
That's really good. I have not done that in my scripts at all and put that in. It would be a matter of going through, Gary, maybe that's a project for down the road. Can we go in there and maybe put that stuff in on the page? But that is very good.
Acting classes.
That's the Michael Ferry stuff that I learned years ago. I'm not an expert to know where to put it, but when we're doing our scripts for us to use as agents, if we add that sell now in bold and then just the dots, you don't say them, but you think them to pause for them to think.
Right. Yeah. One of my favorites was Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, you've been in my car for a while now. By now, you probably know what you're looking for. And it's just a really subtle, and it's not even the right spelling of the word buy, but you hear buy now.
Yep. And there's I'm going to have to find some of my old material, but I'll go back to some of the old material and we'll do a class just on that. Language patterns and embedded commands. And there's so many nuances you can learn. You don't have to be an expert at any one thing. I would just learn one thing at a time. If you have 3 tools in your tool belt, you're probably in good shape, So,
and Gary, I'm open to jumping in on that conversation or leading that because I'm certified in NLP and I actually did break out my scripts and the ... and the and it's like,
cool.
So the pauses and all that. So
those of us that had NLP, if it's in the scripts, we'll get it where it needs to be placed. If we've experienced NLP before, but aren't certified, if you will. It's been a while since I've practiced it, kind of like rusty with that. And I find value in having it in front of me to, oh yeah, that's your ... stupid.
Right. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I still use it. So yeah.
Gary.
So referring to what your pauses you're talking about.
You
So
hear me?
as I'm doing my calling, I've got my script on the computer and I've got it in my hand and I got it on Word sitting on my desk. So I make my changes or I feel like I messed something up. The other thing I do I pay about 180 a month for Mojo, but my calls it's additional. My calls are all recorded. So when I run into that, I go back and listen to that call on that script stuff that I made where I feel like I need to make that pause that you're talking about.
Okay.
Hi, Bonetta's trying to chime in.
I'm sorry, what's that?
Bonetta?
Gary.
Oh, Bonetta. Hey, Bonetta. Yeah.
Y'all are ignoring me. Y'all are egging me.
I'm sorry. I know it's funny. I can't see everybody because I'm screen sharing, so I only see 4 people at a time.
I'm gonna raise my hand next time. Hand raised.
All right.
Where do you find the scripts again? I can't find them.
Okay, so if you go into, let me go back here in 1 second. I'll start from beginning. So if you start off with the website,
Yeah.
realestatewithgarywilson.com.
It's not
of
my
course,
investments.
Yeah, yes, yep. And click on members area.
Yeah.
And I'm already logged in, so normally you would log into your dashboard.
Right.
And once you're in the dashboard, go to GIA resources.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? I don't have access to that.
You should.
No.
If you don't, email Jody and she'll see it in the morning. But
yeah,
left-hand column at the bottom says scripts, and Gina just supplied a bunch of them, and then the operations folks, Bev, Paul, Judy, Jody, they made it more menu driven. So you click on any of these red, basic scripts, buyer scripts, click on any one of those, and it brings up a Word document directly on your screen.
I'm blocked out. I don't have access. This is not available, not available. Add to your library. GIA.
May be on the wrong web page.
No.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I would definitely email Jody in the morning, Jody at REWGW, because you're on a team. You should definitely have it, It could be, you might need to clean out your cookies and your cache. Sometimes clearing all that stuff out will, your computer memory is giving you the version you had from when you first did it. Could be a year or two ago, that's when you clear out your cache, it clears out all those old links, so you get the new one. But in any case, I want to do one more thing here, and then we'll start to wrap this up. Okay, let's say you've gone through 3 conversations, you've handled 3 objections, and they just say, you know what, I just don't know if I want to do it right now. Okay. Here's what you say, and it's very authentic and genuine. So you know what? I understand where you're coming from. I feel the same way sometimes. However, we can't change the market. We can only operate within the market. And the market is what the market is. We are definitely at the top, at or near the top. Look at it this way. You got nothing to lose by putting this thing on the market to sell. I do all the work. I'm the one taking the risk. You got no risk. It doesn't cost you a dime for me to list a property. Okay. And then let's see what the market will bear. You might get 3 offers. You might get 33 offers. Right now, we're probably averaging 5 to 10 offers per property. Get those people in a bidding war, drive up the price. You may get more for your property than you think you might be able to get right now. And at the end of the day, if you don't get what you want, you just say no. And that's it. No harm, no foul. You don't sell your property, you keep it, and it didn't cost you a dime. Don't you at least owe it to yourself to see how much you could actually make? We call that the last attempt, and you'll get some gunslingers out there and they'll say, what the heck, let's see what'll happen. And I tell you what, the reason I like this approach is I can't tell how many people I've had tell me in the past, they want to hang on to it. They don't think they'll get what it's worth. It needs a lot of work, blah, 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 blah. Okay. The reality is, when you present a bona fide offer to people with a hand money check, real money, people change all of a sudden. Have you guys noticed that in the past? Yep, they will. They'll say, you know what? This doesn't look so bad after all, you know? And by the way, this is why I always never like verbal offers. I used to do them again because my investors said, just throw this across the bow, see what they say. It never would go anywhere. So I would now tell my investors, say, look, if you really want to try to get this property, let's give them a real bona fide offer with a real hand money check. I don't mind doing the work. I'd rather do the work and give you the best opportunity to get the best deal you can get. And the only way to do that is to make it look real. Words are meaningless. In real estate, in fact, they're legally meaningless. Nothing is enforced in real estate unless it's in writing. It's the only form of contract for this life. You don't have to tell them this, I'm just telling you the fact. But the point is that approach has got me a lot more listings than if I never used it before, you know? Let's try and see what happens. You got nothing to lose. So, hey, in any case, I want to mention two things here before we wrap things up. One of them is, let me see if Teresa Green is still on. Teresa, you still here?
She was in her car driving earlier, I believe.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Hey guys, so Teresa has made the offer to be to be an ISA for you. Okay. If no matter what we say and do, if you just can't see yourself picking up the phone, and we know that, okay, I know what that's like. I've been there before, and we want you to succeed. So Lisa, and we're gonna fine tune all the details. We're gonna talk more about this next Wednesday night on the monthly GIA Team Mastermind call. But the fact is you can have her do all the heavy lifting here, and she can literally hand you a completely converted prospect. And all you gotta do is get them into a property or get their property sold, okay? That's one approach. The other approach is she can do all this front end stuff to get you an appointment. Because remember, back here, when I go back up in the script here, in number 3, I wasn't actually going for the sale. What was I actually going for here? In number 3, what am I looking to accomplish? What do I want to walk away with?
An appointment.
An appointment. Absolutely. So if you want Teresa to do all of that part for you, then she could set appointments for you. And that's a different scenario. It may be a flat fee per month and you get a minimum number of appointments, something like that. But we're working through the details. I just want you to know that if you're interested in that, you need to have a conversation with her, okay? And she'll be on hopefully next Wednesday, and we can go over that in more detail. Now, the other one is Michelle Hereford. She's been a transaction coordinator for Brianna Latham for several months now and does a great job. She's very good at it. She's got the right personality. If you're interested in that, we'll talk more about that also next Wednesday on the monthly GIA team call. It's always the second Wednesday of the month, 7 p.m. Eastern. And what that does, it frees up your time, okay, to not be doing all the stuff that's non-directly sales related. You know, the best use of your time is, you know, being in front of people, getting them to say yes to a listing or yes to a sale, and going to the closing. Okay. What Michelle will do is do all the paperwork on Sky Slope. She'll set up your inspection, I think appraisal too. Let me see if Michelle's on, because I think I saw her on earlier.
Hey, Gary,
Yes.
you know, next week we're gonna be in Vegas on the 10th.
Right. Well, I'm glad you brought that up. Because of what's happened with me, guys, I'm not going to be taking any long trips anywhere, at least till after the holidays. I've got to be I've actually made my base camp here in Pittsburgh, where my daughter is. It's not just because I want to be with her as much as I can, but she's not allowed to have vaccines or anything. And I can't put her at risk. I can't take any chances, especially while she's on chemo. So I'm glad you brought that up, because I just made that decision over the weekend. So, because we were going to be heading out there on Sunday or Monday. So I need to find out who all is going, because I want you guys to get together when you're out there. Because I understand that they got a pretty big show going on, and a lot of people are going. And I wish I could be there with you. That was the original plan. But under the circumstances, I have to hold off on my personal plans for the moment, you know.
It would be nice if we could get together because I haven't met any of the team members face to face.
Yeah, definitely get on, you know, go through the roster and you can go, or workplace, go to GIA Team workplace page, put a message out there and ask who all is going. I know Lisa's, Lisa Sears is going, that's right. I'm trying to think, there's probably a handful of people going that I know of. Plus, you want to meet people in our upline. You want to meet Andre, all those guys, you know. But anyways, I wish I could be with you guys, but I'm sure, hope you understand under the circumstances. I've got a, you know, family comes first, you know.
Yeah.
So, hey, is Michelle on? I don't think I saw her. I know I saw her earlier.
I'm here,
Michelle,
Gary.
hi, Michelle. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So did I get that right? That you'll do the two appointments, inspection and appraisal, or is it two other ones that,
Yes,
that I'm?
I'll do the inspections.
Okay.
Depends on, I guess, your area. If the TC will do the appraisal or not. I know here in Tennessee, the lenders take care of ordering the appraisals for us here.
Okay. And I understand did you also just do one recently for Jeff up in Michigan?
He and I talked about a transaction that he had on Sky Slope, and then I have worked with Brianna, and then Dennis Newton.
Dennis, that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
And Jasmine.
And Jasmine, okay. Yep. So if everybody could be on next Wednesday night, and that's, boy, I really now need to think things through here. Let's still plan on next Wednesday night. Unless we make a command decision to do it the following week, just the following week, there's other things going on. So right now, let's stick with the 10th. For those of you who are going to be in Vegas, that's going to be 3 hours behind, I think. Yeah, because they do daylight savings time. That'll be 4 o'clock your time. That may be okay. You might be able to squeeze that in before dinner. If not, it'll be recorded, you know? So, but those, I believe, are the last two things I wanted to bring up. Do you guys like tonight's? Did you like going over these scripts and doing the role playing?
Yes, yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Great information.
Yeah, I particularly like the filling in of the gaps that you, Gina, and Michael did, you know, because you're fleshing in some of the details, some of the background information as to like why a script worked the way it worked and why, you know, and when to use it.
Yeah, I agree. Because you hit the point on the head, PF, is the fact that every conversation is different, you know? And they take turns left and right. You know, the key is to practice. You really got to, you know, when you have a role-playing partner, let me type in Teresa's number here. Hang on 1 second. 530.
Well, he's doing that with the role-playing partner.
Yeah.
We used to do a role-playing partner where one person would just ask for the appointment and the other person would say no with a reason. And then you had to think to be able to overcome that. And so you do like 5 minutes where you're the no with the reason and they have to hit, you know, be able to handle the objection, and then you flip the roles. So it's very rapid pace. And if nothing else, it will definitely wake you up in the morning better than coffee. I mean, it's just a really good first thing, boom, 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 and then jump on the phones.
Yeah.
I find my best role playing is talking to the people because they give me all kinds of crap.
Yeah, they do. And it's really fun also. I actually enjoy the having to think on my toes with stuff. I don't have to think on my toes for, I mean, some stuff I know the answers to, but the ones that come up that are unusual, it's just like, okay, hang on. How am I going to deal with this? You know?
Yep. Yep. Hey guys, I put in Teresa Green's name and number and Michelle Hereford's name and number in there for you. And we'll talk about it more on our normal monthly GIA team mastermind, excuse me. Anything else Gina, anything you can think of I haven't mentioned, or anybody on the team, anything you want to ask about or mention to the team?
The only thing I can think about is the thing that we talked about earlier. I don't know if you want to talk about it or not.
Ooh, secrets.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, flowers for Annie.
Can I talk about that?
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Jen. I'm sorry. Yes,
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if it was going to be tonight or if it was going to be Wednesday. Gary came up, like, just mentioned something in passing, and I thought this is really amazing, and it's something that the team can do so for free. So would you guys be interested in something kind of cool that we can all do for Annie for free? That doesn't cost us a dime. It only takes a couple seconds out of your day. You guys want to know?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So Gary said that what he had done is this is where I got the idea. When he was training, and I knew Gary back when he was doing that. And it was, I mean, I don't know if you all know this, Gary didn't have a house for a few years because he was on the road nonstop and he lived in hotels for what, Gary, like 3 years or something?
5 years.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I've been on the road for extended periods, but the most I've ever done is I've done like 6-week stretches. I cannot imagine doing 5 years without a home to go back to. But what he would do in between his classes, when he would see a flower somewhere, he would just stop and he would focus for a minute, kind of ground himself down, breathe, get out his camera, his phone, and take a picture long enough and just be still long enough to focus on that. And he said it took him a few hours to go through, but he knew he had those flowers all somewhere in his computer. And it took him a few hours, but he found, I think he said like 1,500 or something like that, or over 1,000.
1,005 flowers.
1,005. That's what it was. 1,005 flowers in his camera. And so he said, what I'm going to do is, Annie's not like really responsive right now. Like I send her, like, you can, like, people call her friends, call her, and she doesn't really respond back yet, but she's getting the messages. And so what Gary said he was going to do is just send her a flower every so often. And I'm like, wait, that's beautiful. So what I thought we could do, I'm definitely going to do it. And I would love it if the entire team did it. I think it would just be a cool thing. If you could set an alarm on your phone that goes off just like maybe once a week. And if everybody in the team did this, so your phone goes off once a week and you stop for a second, breathe, find a picture of a flower or an emoji of a flower, or take a picture of a flower, or look online for a picture of a flower, and just text it to Annie with a short, either well wish or a short prayer or something along those lines. Annie would be able to, there's 100 people on this team. If we all did it once a week, she would just get random texts from 100 different people. We are not going to expect any answers, but just say, I'm praying for you, I'm thinking about you, with some type of a gorgeous flower. I think that would just be blanketing her in a lot of love and prayer. So I'm going to type Annie Gary. I said, Gary, please, like, find out if it's okay. And Gary said yes. And so here's Annie's phone number that I'm going to type in the box here. And then I'm just going to set some random, hang on, Annie, her flowers for Annie. I'm just going to set I can't type and talk at the same time. So hang on 1 second. There we go. I'm just going to set a random date and time to go off in my phone once a week that just says send flowers to Annie. So I have a reminder to be able to send flowers to Annie. So that was Gary's idea that I just thought was one of the most beautiful things I have ever heard of, that doesn't cost us anything, just to wish her well and let her know that she's in our thoughts.
Thank you, Gina.
You're welcome, Gary. Thank you for the
everyone.
idea.
Yep. Yeah, we could use that for anything else that comes up in the future too. It's a nice, easy thing to do and simple.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay.
Yep. So flowers for Annie. Also, while we're on that note, actually, I'll wait till Wednesday. I'd like to talk a little bit about extend a hand and find out who'd be interested in kind of working on our team with that charity of our team that we have, that EXP has, about helping people in need, which is kind of a cool thing that we stumbled across.
Yep.
So cool.
Yeah. Well, listen, everybody, this has been an awesome class. It's good to be back and sharing with you. And I look forward to next Monday night's class. I don't think there's any more. Oh, sorry, Wednesday night. For those of you who are said you want to learn more about agent attraction, that we're doing that Wednesday night, 7 p.m. That link is on the GIA workplace page. And I think I put a post out there on there earlier. So be sure to participate in that. We have made progress on automating things and scripts and so forth to help you. Lots of tools you can use. And one of the main ones is just invite your guests to the classes, these Monday night classes. And then Thursday night is the gig review for the October gig. So if you're running a gig, you want to be on that Thursday night. And by the way, we're quick reminder here. All of these groups, these small groups, you don't have to be in all of them. Just pick the one or two you want to be part of. That's what this is all about. We're making these available to you because we all come to the table with different skills and talents and personalities. So we want to make sure you're in alignment with the group of people, the right group of people. It could be one group, could be two, probably not more than three. But I will tell you, agent attraction should be part of everybody's plan, along with production. Production is number one, agent attraction is number two. Long term, you'll find out number two will be your number one source of income. I'm seeing it. I mean, I could go on and on about it. I want to spend a night on that, but we have clear evidence, just the people directly above us who are willing to share with us and the biggest supporters, actually. So in any case, look out for that Wednesday night. And also, if you have not set up a one-on-one, okay, I know it was off for a week, but please set up a one-on-one in the month of November. My goal is to have everybody in at least one-on-one, okay? Because
Hey,
we're going to get
Gary.
you, yes.
So regarding that, I always have a hard time trying to find your calendar. Like right now, I'm trying to find it. And I sent you an email tonight saying, can you please add that to your signature? Your calendar link.
Yeah, I used to have that in there, Brenda, but what would happen is I like to reserve those time slots for you guys. And
I
what was
just put it
happening?
in the chat box.
Oh, thank you, Gina. Okay, I was just going to go
Yeah,
find
but,
it. Yeah.
I mean, every time I'm trying to find it, I have a hard time. So
Vanetta, I bookmarked it, so it's right at the top of my screen. It's literally, I mean, that's one of my bookmarks that I've
I
got.
got other bookmarks up there. So
I also have it under his contact in my phone in my notes section. So if I think I can't find it in my bookmarks, it's always in the contacts in my database.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Yeah, Vanetta, what was happening is you might imagine, our team is getting a lot of attention because we're doing great things. And so people were in, they found out that's how they could get a hold of me. But I want to reserve those spots for you guys. You're my number one. I mean, I don't do anything else until I work with you one-on-one. Everything else is secondary. So those time slots are your time slots. They're sacred and precious.
When Gary says we're getting a lot of attention, we go into onboarding now and they know us, they know our team. They built a special team section for us. So when you go into onboarding to ask questions now, you can pull literally a team ticket because there's so many special things around teams, and EXP changed the way they're onboarding teams now. They were sending out like a piece of information way down the line, and it was hard to catch it sometimes. And now EXP, when they sign up, immediately sends everything out. There's just a lot of things they're doing on the back end now. They've set up, I don't know how new this one is, but I just found out about this one. There's a special way that you can get, if you've got an admin, your admin has full on access to EXP also with their own login, etc. So we've got the link on that if you want that, but there's just a lot of things that they're doing to restructure how they do business to be able to deal with us.
Yep. Thank you. Hey, Kathy, the commercial mastermind is a subgroup, and it's for agents who do want to focus at least part of the business on commercial clients and commercial transactions, and using commercial data and commercial tools. We now have that across the country. We have access to every property across the country. And I personally spoke with 7 people I knew were interested in that. They've been waiting for it. And what I did is I opened it up to everybody because some of you may be interested, and I might not know that. So Friday, we're going to have the first mastermind, and I'll just introduce the mastermind and talk more about what we're going to do there. But going forward, we will meet on a regular basis and focus that mastermind just on commercial data, commercial methodologies, and commercial clients and commercial transactions. Some of you will be still be in your core group, CORE and mastermind. Some of you will just be in the commercial mastermind. And some of you will say, you know what, I'm just going to stick with the small investor for now, which is residential, up to 4 units, okay? Commercial is 5 and above. So we'll determine that on Friday. You'll get to say, hey, I want to be part of this, or no, I don't. I already know 7, maybe it's 10 by now. I've already said hands down that's why they get into this. So there'll be some hardcore commercial people in there, and others are going to be spending some time on it and some time, because you should have a balanced model. You should be serving, consumers that are buying, selling their own homes and investing, to have a really good business model. So this will allow you to do that. Yep. Okay. By the way, just curious, who's excited about the commercial stuff we got going on now? I know.
Yeah.
Me.
Yep.
I at
Yes.
least want to listen in.
There
Why
you
I
go.
got into this with you, Gary.
Yep. So we're there, and we're gonna rock and roll, man. So
Gary,
okay, guys.
Gary,
Yes.
Gary, before we go, may I say something else?
Yes.
I want to thank all of you guys for turning on your camera. It's a small thing, but it does make a difference in building relationship, because unless we all go to Vegas, or another event like Hawaii that we've been talking about, we may not be able to see each other face to face and be able to relate as a human, rather than be a disconnected, disembodied voice over the computer. So it really makes a difference, at least to me, for sure. It's making me feel comfortable with my own skin, because I am seeing that really smart people are listening to me and they're watching my reaction to what they're telling me. So I really appreciate that. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And I can personally vouch for the fact that Lou Carlson, Kevin Kelleher, and Augusta Azu are particularly handsome gentlemen. That's a fact. I just pick on them because your camera's off right now. I know Gerbert's he's working through some technical issues, but
Hey, Gary.
Yes, sir.
Am I able to attend that mastermind commercial on that Friday?
Yeah, if you could do me a favor, Greg, shoot me a text, and that'll be my reminder to send you it'll be in an email. I'll send an email to you.
All right. You want me to send you a text or email?
Send a text to me, and then or email. Either one, actually. Yeah, that'll work.
Okay.
Gary, I thought about one more thing. Real quick, Gary and I are building an onboarding platform online that's sort of one stop for when our agents are coming on. It's Trello board. I'm building it out. You guys are going to be getting an email that's got a Google form in it with information. If you guys could fill that out, it will help immensely. What I'm doing is I'm building it all out, and then I'm adjusting it for the way that our team does things. And then when I get it up and running, I'll be able to share it directly with Gary, and Gary will have it already, an already built system. So if you get an email from me or my assistant, her name is Pal, like superhero, like Pow Pow is how I remind her about that. I remember her name. But anyway, if you see an email from one of the two of us that's got that Google form in it, would really help if you take a minute and just get it filled out really quickly. And that will allow us to build it out. So super appreciative to all you all. I know Sam's already done it, and I think the email just went out today.
Okay. Awesome. Okay, guys. I'm gonna hit the road here. I got a few more emails to get out, and then I'm gonna relax.
One quick thing, Gina.
Oh,
what?
Hey, I'm not on board yet, but I'm coming the first of probably December. Would you like me to? Can I do that ahead of time or just wait?
You can absolutely do it ahead of time. Is that Gregory talking?
Yes.
Yeah.
Gregory, sweetie, what's your email?
Team Cov, COV as in Victor, @gmail.com.
Love it. All right, we'll get an email out to you that gets you up and into the system. And actually, if you'll allow me to, where you moved around on my screen, there you are. If you'll allow me to, I would love to be able to use it to kind of show my assistant the process that we're building through.
Absolutely.
Thank you, sweetheart.
And
Super
Gina,
appreciate
guess where Greg is?
Where are you,
Located.
Greg?
Well, I'm in Virginia, particularly in Suffolk, Virginia.
Are you in Newport News?
I was. I do work the Newport News area, though.
Oh my gosh. You know that I was there for a few years, right?
No, I didn't.
I
What's your
was
last
the
name?
team leader. I built the KW out there.
Oh, did you?
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
That's where I met Gary, actually. I was the team leader out there. I started it from an ownership group and took it up the first like 3 years out there.
Western Branch?
No, the one in Newport News.
Newport News, you said. Newport News. Okay.
Yep.
All right. The KW Newport News. I just talked to them the other day. I had to turn them down.
Yeah, you did.
Well, I look forward to meeting you in person.
I look forward to meeting you too. I really do.
I'm the Seven City guys. You guys ever looking for a realtor down in the Seven Cities? I'm your guy. Hampton Roads.
I love it.
757.
Yeah.
757. Yep.
Never too busy for your referrals.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay.
you so much.
Listen, everybody, thank you all. Thank you very much for participating and engaging, because that's what it takes to succeed. You know, the old saying, Rome wasn't built in a day, and Lord knows I didn't get where I'm at myself. I've made use of groups just like this, and it's a lot more fun when you do it too. You'll get a lot further, a lot faster. You know, so okay, guys, have a good night. God bless you and your families, and I'll see you Wednesday, Thursday, and next Monday and next Wednesday, and Friday for the commercial group. We're gonna be together a lot.
Bye, all you beautiful faces.
Yeah, there we
Oh,
go.
I got one question, Gary.
Oh, yes.
Where is that script that you were reading? What was the title of that one? The script that you.
Well, basic scripts. Basic
It was
scripts.
basics. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, got it. All right, thanks.
You're very welcome.
Text, Gina.
Oh, you're welcome, sweetie.
Have a good night, y'all.
Have a
Bye,
good night,
everyone.
everyone.
Great night, y'all.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Bye.